Action.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Paranormal Connections radio show. Glad to have everybody here with us. I know a lot of you in the paranormal community joined us last night for our special broadcast. We want to say, first of all, thank you for that. You guys have made that show just go crazy on Facebook. So a lot of people... A lot of people shared it. The word is definitely getting out. Just a quick update. Absolutely 100% Ryan Privy, Ryan Ayers, whatever the hell he wants to call himself today, Diana Johnson, whatever, I don't know, whatever he's calling himself. We really, really upset him. Like, we have just really fucked up his whole week, I have to say. Like, every day.
Well, there goes our, you know what? We're not going to be sponsored by Pepsi anymore.
Oh, well. They need to double sponsor us at this point.
You know what?
So, well, that's all right, because at the network they have a 5-second delay, so I get bleeped out on when I can't help it sometimes. Like, I forget, like, when I'm on the FM broadcasting station, I'm not supposed to curse, but it's hard for me. I probably get a lot of bleeps through delays through my show, and
yeah, that's
maybe
all right. You know what? It's okay.
They're used to it. They're used to it.
Express yourself. Do your thing. You're
right.
Awesome.
So anyway, we really have messed up Mr. Privy's psychic life this last few days. The one thing I always laugh about is these keyboard warriors. They will go online and they will talk so much shit. Now, he tried to call me out and say that I had all of the evidence and all the information wrong. And I said, okay, well, why don't you come on the show and you can debate me on it. We'll have the debate online. And he was like, absolutely not. And that went from that to I was begging him to come on the show. And then now it's like, oh, well, she asked me to come and give my side, but I'd never go on to her show, blah, 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 blah. But I did see a post today. I mean, obviously he cares so much that he's watching the show. So again, thank you for the additional views. We always love that. But the biggest thing was that I saw a post where he said that he has gotten so much flack after the show. He has been messaged and blown up so much of people going after him that he has decided that he will no longer take on private cases.
Aww.
So I want to say, I feel like that's like a win in our category, because, we can't stop him from investigating in general, but we sure as hell could let enough people out there where they gave him enough flack that he decided to retreat for a while. So I think you did good. Obviously, it just infuriated him more. So he's been on a rant, tirade, whatever you want to call it, all day long since this morning. And again, we messed up his day. Everyone, thank you, Ryan, for telling us how well we are affecting you, because that just makes me want to do the next show so much more. But I will tell you, again, the best advice I can give you is just step back at this point. I don't even know you should be doing your tours, but if you stay out of people's houses, if you want to scam people for their money, let them deal with you. I'm not worried about that.
Well, no, hold on. And it's a good time. I don't mean to interrupt you, but at the same time, I got to get this in. It's almost Christmas time. They need a greeter at Walmart. Perfect guy for this. Perfect Walmart greeter. He has the whole look.
Oh my God, he went through this whole day. Like, the post is so long that I was like, does it ever end? He's really, really mad.
You know what?
I just laughed through it. I thought it was pretty funny. But he was saying that, there's so many haters in this field and they'll believe anything. Now, mind you, he did validate some of the things that were shared on yesterday's show. But he said that Nathaniel, who was our guest last night, had lied about a lot of it, that he had never done any sacrifices of a kitten, that it was actually Nathaniel. I hate to say it, dude, like, we've caught you in so many lies. I wouldn't believe you if your forehead came stamped with the approval of the government. In fact, I'd probably not trust you even more. But
did you see what he wrote? Okay, real quick. I'm going to jump on this real quick.
Go ahead.
somebody told what he said about me in the last couple of days. He said his thing is now to get out of the system or not be looked down upon. Someone told him that I abuse drugs. Somebody told him.
Yeah, whatever, because I
He's
might,
psychic. He's
yeah,
psychic.
well, I might, oh, yeah, that's a big fail for him, but I might have, actually believed that if we wouldn't have had all of these people in the chat room last night saying, oh, yeah, he calls me a witch too. Oh, yeah, he said I was a drug addict too. And
Exactly.
like seriously, so you have a history and it usually shows. And anyway, he admitted that he did go and dig up the objects that were buried at the cemetery
Yeah.
because he said that he felt it was wrong and that that was some kind of satanic ritual, and so he took them and he threw them away, but that he found out later that the family found out and they buried him again. So
Yeah.
whatever, I mean,
I'm sorry. You know what?
he
I'll
can't even
just
keep the story straight.
you know what? It's just I could be the funniest guy in the world and talk so much, but I don't want to. He's a waste of my time. He's below me. He's nothing. He's under my shoe. He's a piece of gum. It's no big deal anymore.
Uh-oh. Ellen says he's after me today too. Well, yeah, he was after, well, and the funny thing is that even though now everybody knows you're the co-host on the show, and to make it very clear, everybody still, all the blame goes to me. On Christina George's show,
I know. You know
on
what?
Christina, I'm
I
like,
had a
what?
no. I had a few messages today, but you know what? I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh my god, man, this guy's pissed. But you know what? He is such. My opinion of him. My opinion only. He's a doofus. He's just a doofus. That's it. That's
Well,
my opinion. That's my opinion.
I have to agree. I mean, I should always go with my first, feelings, being a psychic, but again, against my better judgment, I
Yeah.
decided that you were rubbing off a little bit on me, that whole
No.
positivity white light shit was rubbing off on me, where I was like, oh, maybe it's not true. Maybe he's a really nice guy, Christina. Don't go with your gut feeling. Let's just give him a chance.
No, but he
You
wasn't.
know,
You know what he did? He was eating food out of my palm at this jewelry thing. He was actually really nice. Like I said, everybody talked crap about him. I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. I was making my own decision, saying, "Oh, I'll give him a chance." I gave him a chance. Gave him a
well,
chance, and all of a sudden, I stuck up for everybody he was talking crap about, and that's when it went downhill. Oh
yeah.
well. Oh
And
well.
see, now the dark side is rubbed off on you, so you're like, oh, now
Shoot.
you're getting to see every step you take, the way it goes in this field,
Yeah.
and that kind of brings us. Well, actually, before we get to there, Ellen says he said that we put you guys up to it.
Yeah.
I
You.
will make it very clear:
No.
nobody put us up to this. Like, no, I mean, everything that he did and ended up telling me and showing me, and
Yeah.
the things I kept finding out is why I made the decision. And it was a good decision of why I made to do it,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
but the thing is that he's not the only one in this field. I mean, again, there are a lot of people out there like this. You think that, oh, they seem like they're a cool person or whatever because you meet them at an event or you meet them at a conference, or
Yeah.
maybe you were out somewhere and you met them while you were investigating, whatever. And you just say, oh, they like the same thing we like. Oh, they seem like a cool person. Let's all hang out and be friends, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like a year goes by, you're good friends. 2 years go by, something happens.
Yep.
All
Always
you got
happens.
to do, I told you that at the beginning, all you
You're
got to do
right.
is say one thing that they don't like,
Oh
and
man.
they can go from lover to hater like a light switch.
Snap of I had that just happen to me and Kara. All of a sudden 2 years into relation with a few people, and it just went shitty because we decided to make our own footprints in the sand. We're not followers. And boy, did it turn on us. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. Have a nice day. It matters to me, but you know what? They'll suck the blood out of you and they can get what they want from you, and then they just move on.
Oh,
I know I
100%.
sound like an asshole. I sound like, but back to this other
Why?
guy, Ryan. Good. I know, huh? I gave him an opportunity today to just message me privately saying, "Hey, man, I really messed up." He had all day, and he did not. So now he's nothing to me. Now he's nothing, and I can't wait to meet him again. He's a douchebag. I'm saying it to you. You know what, You know what? No, I almost said Devin. Oh
Oh,
shit,
this
that
is
would
like the
treat
second time, Devin. Like I'm shook
Devin.
up
I
for
love
you
you.
today too because I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" You got Devin in the back of your mind
I
or
know. I
something.
no. I love Devin. I love him and Ellen. No, but this guy Ryan, I'm going to say it out loud, guys. Look, I'm a nice guy, go getter, positive attitude. I love everybody, but I'm just going to say, hey Ryan, you're a douchebag. I called you straight to your face. Have a good day, Mister.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, and then what was so funny about it was then he turned around and right before the show he called to threaten that physical harm and a lawsuit on me if I
Mm-hmm.
did the show. And so
Yeah.
of course I said, well, let me do a little longer show like that. Hey, I'm always up for a
No,
challenge. Like you
no,
tell
he
me
don't got.
not to do something, I have to do it. I just have to.
No, the way I look, in my opinion, the way he was dressed at this jewelry thing, he couldn't rub two nickels together. You know what? I'm just saying it. That's you know what? I'm surprised he didn't ask me a loan for a Coke. He couldn't rub two nickels together.
Aaron is saying day 2 of Ryan question mark.
No,
Absolutely not.
nope.
No. Yeah, that we everybody has been asking us what was going on, so that's why we decided to give an update to let people know what was going on. If you haven't heard about this, or it's the first time you're hearing about any of this, make sure to go to the Paranormal Connections page. You will see a special broadcast from yesterday about this, and boy, oh boy. When you hear some of the stuff that was revealed yesterday, along with pictures, along with receipts, it blow your mind. Blow your mind, believe me. Joe Vitale, hey Joe, he says, first time I investigated with him, I knew immediately he had no idea what he was doing. Well, if you're a tour guide and your
What's
team
up,
for a
JoJo?
demonic case
Yeah,
are the people who paid to go on your tour,
right.
yeah, that's going to be a problem. Kristen says, "Oh, he's been messaging me, asking me, please don't believe the bullshit lies." Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't think you're going to change anybody on this one. See,
Yeah.
hey, Sparky. Oh, nice to see Spark. I wouldn't expect you to be at these kinds of shows, but we'd love to see you, girl. Hey, David. Nice to see you as well. Oh,
Ellen. I love Devin. I don't know why his name's always on my head. I love him. Sorry about that. I do. I love him. Man crush.
She said Devin is my gay lover according to Ryan. Well, oh, I'm sorry. Devin is here now, and Devin says Ellen McFarland is one of the best and hardest working people I know. So, and I guess he still loves you. Then he hasn't said anything bad. All right, but we
Thank
got to get
God.
into
Let's
tonight's
go.
show because, again, as I said, this is one of those things that last night's show, although it was so very popular, it's
Yeah.
not the only one. It's not the only person. I mean, it seems like we have been having a lot of these shows lately. And again, some people have had a problem with it because they're saying, oh, you're getting away from topics of the paranormal and things like that. But I don't believe so. I think that, again, it's very important that we know who we're interacting with, who we are investigating with, who we are bringing around our friends and family,
Yep.
and things like that. So again, if I find out you're a pedophile, if I find out you're sending, unsolicited dick pics to people or to little girls, if I find out you're faking evidence or you're full of shit, you're absolutely going to end up on my show for the attention that you're looking for. But again, that's not what the show is always going to be about. I have to pick and choose because there's just so much going on all the time that I wouldn't have time to. I'd have to create a whole nother show, which has actually been mentioned to me by multiple people the last few days, that we need to have a third show, which is just for calling everybody in the
I
paranormal out. I was like, I don't think I got that much energy. That's just way, way too
do you know
much.
how drained? Do you realize we'd never be able to paranormal investigate again? We'd be so drained. We'd be
Yeah.
drained by the. We'd be drained. I was drained today. Over yesterday, I was drained.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. All right, guys. So anyway, we're going to get to our guests tonight. So tonight our guests are Gavin and Paula Kelly, and they are the host of the Phantasmic, I cannot speak today. Phantasmic Journey podcast. A lot of you probably have heard it, as well as the host of Amazon's show, The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown. Oh, they're going to be joining us tonight. We're going to be talking about all kinds of topics. fakery in the paranormal. We're going to be discussing fake demonologists. They're running rampant around here. Faked evidence, again, happening all the time. Fake haunted items. And the topic of taking online classes to become either a paranormal investigator or demonologist. If you go to these classes, first of all, are they worth the money? Second of all, if not, here we go. I'm going to bring my guests on because they've got some help right here. What was that you were showing there, guys? I saw some certificates.
Yeah. We're certified.
You got yours today in the mail too?
Yeah.
Oh, we got it like expedited because I guess my hard copy is going to come, but they emailed it to me. I got one too.
Yeah, it's in the mail.
A double degree.
Yeah, I got my doctorate too.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, Gavin and Paula, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Again, as I was saying before, the topics that we're talking about tonight are really topics that are ones that come across in our field every single day. But the topic we were talking about prior to bringing you on with a lot of people who we're investigating with or we are around or are presenting themselves out there as these people that we start to find out they're not who they say they are. It happens to everybody, and it's even happening to you. And I'm sure it's happened multiple times, you doing what you do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have the chance of running into someone that has a weird way of investigating, and they're rude, obnoxious, arrogant, saying derogatory and sexual things while on an investigation. I mean, it gets to the point where some of the investigators want to take them out to a woodshed.
Yeah, buddy.
And he's also one of those, or some people can also be one of those that they're always right and everybody's wrong.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right.
We and Christopher Houston actually tried to school him on some stuff. And, the thing is, he believes every single thing that he does, it's evidence. I watched a video and showed a rocking chair. He's like, the rocking chair started moving. I'm like, okay, well, first of all, we can only see the top. We can't see the bottom. You're in the basement and you have a cat. So the cat obviously hit the chair. No, it's paranormal. No, it's not. I mean, and there's so many other things that, he keeps on going, fake EVPs. He's sitting there doing an EVP session with his TV on, his kids running around. So you're getting a lot of contamination. But yet he feels that he's getting voices and stuff like that. And unfortunately, I did not get to investigate with him, but Joe did. And I never got to hear the end of it because he went ahead and filmed. Yeah, see? He goes, I almost took him to the woodshed.
Yep.
He did. He sent me the video and he's like, dude, take a look at this and just watch this. And I could not believe it. And then there's just other things that, occurred during that time that, it's kind of speculation. We've heard different stories from two different people, but he admits to doing something and then he denies it. So it's like everything that he admits to, he wants to deny that it didn't happen. And Sarah, he's been going back and forth with her. And it's just, I don't know. This guy, we feel, and everybody else is listening feel that he should not even be in this field. I mean, he's buying haunted dolls from hauntedcrap.com, which is hilarious.
Okay, we gotta stop right there because we can't gloss over these certain topics because that's what really kind of hit me funny. Because first of all, anybody who knows me, I hate dolls. Hate dolls, period. Never liked them, never will like them, had horrible experiences with them. My children don't even have or like dolls because of it. But so I'm seeing all these so-called haunted dolls, and then I saw a piece of jewelry or something that he was doing a video on, and he had said, oh, I got this at hauntedcrap.com. And I'm reading the comments underneath it, and people are saying, oh, isn't that dangerous? What about if you get something that's, dark, that's very dangerous? And his ass said, oh, no, I only buy things with positive spirits attached to them, as if there's like a catalog where you're like, yes, I want the haunted doll, or I want the haunted object. I would like to order one with just a friendly spirit, please.
Have you checked the website out? I didn't know about the website until this whole subject matter came up. I investigated the website. Some of the stuff on there, I am laughing my head off.
You can say ask.
Especially for a couple of items, and I'm over here, and you know, if you click on the item, it gives you this big old huge half a page story about each item that's on the page, and some
where
of
it came from, where it came from and stuff.
How they obtained it, like somebody secretly sent it to them in the mail, and they didn't have a return address.
Well, some of the ones, they say the group that created the website, when they were doing their investigations, they went to places and did basically like what John Zaffis has done. You know, if there's a haunted item there, can I go ahead and take this out of the house? Well, that's what they did, and they kept them all. And now they're selling them on hauntedcrap.com. And I'm thinking to myself going, okay, yeah, I forgot. I got to tell you. They also said that they test them in an off-site location before they market them.
Oh, that's all right. The one that I read about it's called The Box. I'm sorry. That one sticks out of my brain so bad it's past. But they have it and they call it The Box. So I read the whole page and a half they have on The Box. And it talked about they secretly had gotten it in the mail and they don't know where it came from, but it was no return address. And it had a little letter with it that stated that this was in my house, and that a priest had to come in and caught a demon and stuck it in the box, and then they had the priest bless it, and then wrapped a rose and super glued a rosary, wrapped around a rosary around the box, and sent it to them and said that they didn't want to be in charge of it and that they needed it.
Wow, sounds like they watched the story on the Divic box and decided that they would come up with their own version of that or something.
I tell you what, I am so tired of seeing the Divic box. I have seen the real one.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Chad not a shoebox decorated.
Exactly. Chad says, "I want a positive item with a splash of malevolent, please." Nicole says, "There's nothing positive about a haunted doll or item. Attachments, in my experience, hold on just a second. You guys are posting too quick. Never turned out good." Well, I don't know. I personally have never had, I would never have a haunted doll. Well, I'm lying. I actually, as much as I hate dolls, 2 of my clients had haunted dolls, or 3, and I ended up getting them. But I ended up also finding a good home for them. Not selling them, just take them off my hands. Whatever you want to do. If you like them, that's good. But, I question, first of all, is how are they testing these dolls and the jewelry and stuff to know if it's something, that is, a positive, has a positive spirit or a negative one? Like, this is just killing me that somebody is even stupid enough to even buy into this. But do we have any idea how long this guy's even been in the field?
But the site popped up when I first heard about the guy in question. So I never even heard of the site. But they're coming up with other sites too. Creepy crap, kinky crap, stupid crap. So yeah, it's just going to be a crap store.
It's just a crap show. What do you know? Look, oh my gosh.
So they're actually taking an object, say like a doll. They're going to an off-site location, and they told me what it is. It's a cabin out in the woods with no electric. And I'm like, okay, so how are you testing it? Oh, well, we're doing yes and no questions. We're using a Ghost Meter Pro. And I'm like, oh dear God, you just said Ghost Meter Pro.
Just blew it right there.
That thing is so fake. It finds a ghost every 1 minute to maybe 2 minutes, and there's a pattern on it. Yes, yes, no, no, yes, no, yes, yes, no, yes, no, yes. There's a pattern on there. I already cracked the darn thing. I know exactly which one it's going to be. I only use it because it's a highly sensitive EMF detector. It can really pick up high levels of EMF. That's the only reason why I use them. But I don't use them for that crap for the yes and no. I don't use it for, detecting a ghost and all that. But that's what they use to go ahead to test their stuff at the cabin.
Well, you got actually more information from them than Sarah did. Sarah says, Haunted Crap blocked me when I asked them if they thought it was responsible to sell quote unquote demonic items. Also asked how they got so many haunted items and how can they make that claim comfortably. So they blocked her.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine contact them. I didn't do it. He did it. Because since I have been in that little circle and around, going around with the boxing gloves, he kind of knows who I am. So I had a friend of mine go ahead and contact him, and they basically ran him up one wall and down the other. And then they said, you know, you have no right to even be asking us about this stuff. You don't even know what we do. And like, well, okay, so how do you test these things? And that's when they said about the cabin and all that stuff. But yeah, they ran him up one wall and down the other. I'll actually send you else you can check it out.
I have a question. How long has this company been around? A year, 2 years? How long have they been around?
I have no idea.
I'd never heard of them either until
the person in question that we're talking about.
I just know that if you go on the website and you click an item that you're interested in, it tells a story about the item.
Yeah, I know.
I got to go check it out. See, David saying super glue holds demons with a question mark. Writing this down.
Write that down.
Joe's saying that he can tell us the OSR story. So, Joe, I sent you the link in your messenger. So if you're on your computer, you can click on that link and it'll take you directly into the lobby and we'll add you. If you're if you're going to join in via your phone, you need to go to your Play Store and download the BeLive.tv app first, and then click on the link I sent you, and then click join as a guest, and it will put you in. And Sarah says, "Ooh, the OSR story is crazy." Yeah, I mean, again, we're this is all about it. And I guess we kind of have to like step back a little bit, because I mean, if we're going to start talking about this guy, I mean, as everybody knows on this show, we call people out by name. If if you're going to come, if they're out there, the only way we're really going to let people know, people are going to know about these things going on is if we call these people out by name. So are you willing to do that?
Sure, why not?
All right.
I'm sure Joe's going to do it too once he gets in. Because like he said, he wanted to go ahead and take him out to the woodshed.
Shit. we got Joe on here. Hold on just 1 second. There he is. He finally decided to come on camera. Hold on.
God, I love this tonight. I love this.
Joe, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm all right. A little bit cranky, but I'm all right.
I noticed earlier, but that's okay. I mean, you're on here. I'd love to hear your opinion. Gavin and Paula were saying that you actually investigated with him, so you would be, the one person, I guess, kind of be able to tell a personal experience about this guy and what's real and what's not real. So go on.
All right, so we get to OSR. I just meet him, whatever. Get the tour, start investigating. Myself and a couple of other people started to investigate, and that was during the day. We started to investigate, and we go down one of the cell blocks. And here's Dennis yelling. Yeah, I said his name, and I don't care.
Oh, anyway. No, we are definitely saying his name. We definitely have to. So make sure, say it again, say very clear, so we all know who this guy is.
Dennis, the paranormal menace. I'm the one who come up with that.
Yes, you did.
Love it.
So,
well, what's his actual name though? So if people want to go look him up.
What's his Higgins, whatever, douche.
Hagen.
There's a lot of douchebags.
Zach Bagan, Dennis Hagen.
Yeah. Okay, so Dennis Hagen. All right, so we got
a song about it, so we'll listen to that afterwards.
Oh, perfect. Well, can't wait to hear it. Okay, so with Dennis Hagen. Okay, I will never forget that now because I was called Zach Douchebagans, so I'll remember this one, Dennis Douchebagans. Okay, all right. So, you said he's a paranormal menace, Dennis the Menace. So, again, go ahead, spill all the tea. I want to hear it.
All right. So we get there, and sorry, somebody was sending me a message. Anyways, okay. We get there. He's investigating, but he's being rude. Okay. there's a bunch of people there. Some of these people don't exactly have a whole lot of experience, or it was their first time investigating. Okay, you don't go into a place and talk like you're in charge, like you own the place. We're in a prison. Some of these men, and even young men, have died by the hands of other inmates. And a lot of these guys were in there for really dumb things, just simple, just dumb things. And here he is running around yelling about an anal search, just being rude. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? So a while later, I was with him and a bunch of other people investigating, and this guy trying to do an EVP session, and he just won't shut up. I ask a question. 2 seconds later, he's running his mouth. I'm like, oh my God. I was getting annoyed. So we had a guy with us who was fairly new. His name was William. And he had some device, I can word spit out or something like that. And at that point, I was beyond pissed. And on his device, it kept saying mad, angry, upset. And it may have. I just ignored it. I don't really mess with devices or apps that do that kind of thing. But if it was referring to me, it worked. But, then he, okay, so all of us, we all do it. When we go out and we investigate, we have fun. And, like me, I like to just for fun, when the opportunity happens, say, that's what she said. And that's been sort of like, a running joke with us, or even making other dirty remarks, whatever. They're very playful. He would go out of his way to make sexual remarks. He actually insulted another investigator's husband. Something was vibrating the floor, and he made a very derogatory sexual comment about that, and pretty much putting down her husband. And I'm like, really? The guy's not even here to even say anything back? Well, okay. So it's me and one other investigator. We went off on our own. Actually, before we did that, he grabbed her ass in a cell.
Wait. He grabbed the girl that was by herself? The husband was at home?
Yeah. Those two were together, and he ended up grabbing her ass.
Wow.
Now, she didn't ask for it.
Right.
There's sort of a backstory to that. That's none of anybody's business.
Right.
But she didn't want that. That's not what she wanted. He did it. Then he claimed, after we all left, he had claimed to other people he didn't do it. A ghost did it. Then he's admitted that, I have problems and that he did do it, whatever. But later on, it was just her and I investigating. And all of a sudden, I hear him yelling, hey, where are you? Are you playing? I want to play hide the zucchini or something.
Jesus.
Now, I didn't hear that at that point in time. I just knew that he was yelling. When I went back and going over all the footage, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. That is seriously what he said? Now, I got that video up on my channel, but I guess it was either him or his wife was saying that I edited that in such a way to make him look bad. No, I didn't. In fact, there's more than what I had just put up there. So I was mad. It got to a point before myself and the other investigator just went off by ourselves. It got to a point where I couldn't put up with them. I left. Even right now, talking about it, it drives me nuts. Because this guy, he's one of those wannabe investigators that get under my skin. Just the way
like a know-it-all, like a know-it-all. Think he knows everything.
Yeah, he honestly thinks, he genuinely believes, like you guys were talking about the dolls and such, that just about everything that he experiences that for whatever reason he can't seem to explain is paranormal. That is not how you investigate.
Right.
That is not at all. You can, like people who rely on EMF detectors. You can't rely on that. You can't rely on a K2. There's a million things that'll set those things off. The last thing you need to think of is paranormal when something like that goes off, unless you get a pattern when you're asking questions and you're seeing a specific pattern. But this guy, at the towards the end of the investigation, they did this challenge. And what it was, no equipment, nothing. You walk the cell block by yourself. I went first. He went last. When he came back, I don't remember what it was he said, but I'm just like, what a moron. And I looked over at his buddy and I'm like, how long has he been investigating for? And I believe his buddy told me, I don't know, like 2 years. I'm like, well, he acts like he just started at 8 o'clock yesterday, because at this point in time it was
Right.
3 in the morning. But this guy, he really thinks he's something else, and then he's going to try to make a name for himself off of me or anybody else. And I know that kind of makes me sound like a douche, but he said he was going to go ahead and run with the whole Dennis the Paranormal Menace thing. I don't think so, buddy. I've already got that as a trademark. Good luck. But yeah, he just rubs me the wrong way. So bad. So bad.
Well, what about him having, so does he consider himself a demonologist? And I guess he kind of considers himself better than everybody else in the paranormal field, even though you said he's only been in the field a few years because he took an
Yeah, he
online
got one
class
of
and
these,
got a
remember?
certificate. Yeah, there are printed up certificates that anybody can
Well, I
print.
got one too. I went to.
Oh, you did.
I went. Apparently, I somehow managed to not take a course or do anything and got one printed up, so I'm certified.
And
I
you're
got two
Well,
certifications.
yeah, you
I
got
thought
yours.
that, yeah, I just
Same
thought
for
I got
me, and I was
mine.
teaching preschool.
Well, I was like, wow, I've been doing it all these years. I'm not even a demonologist, but I got a certificate for that. But I thought when I got the paranormal investigator one, I'm like, finally they're acknowledging me. Somebody, I don't know who it
How
is because we don't have a governing body. So it doesn't, you might as well wipe your butt with it. But
No, I
like,
think he
what?
lost his train of thought.
okay? How there isn't. I'm okay. There are people who believe, like us, paranormal, spirit stuff like that. There's other people who just don't, and that's fine. But how do you get a certificate for something that isn't even recognized as anything other than just some sort of strange phenomena, or I hate to say it like this, made up in such a way as a lot of people would look at it? You can't.
Exactly.
You can't go and get. I mean, it kills me that people are actually charging, and I'm not talking about the demonology part. I'm just talking about the investigation stuff. How the hell can you charge somebody to get a certificate to be a paranormal investigator when I know when I investigate, I cannot guarantee results. I
No,
cannot guarantee who's haunting a home. I can't do
Yep.
any of that stuff. I can only do my best to provide some sort of evidence and maybe a peace of mind to whoever.
right.
I mean, you can't. I mean, it's a scam, and I don't. And it baffles me because usually, like the government, they would want to get involved in something like that because it's a scam. But that hasn't happened.
Yeah, there's no proof.
Don't and there really is no proof. And that's another thing. He wants to totally dismiss science. I see in a post where part of what I do is science. Although I haven't really been able to do a whole lot of that here lately, just because of everything that's been going on and being busy. But he totally wants to dismiss a lot of the science that goes into the paranormal. Science is crucial to the paranormal. And, I can't remember exactly what it was he had said in this post, but he's like, how come scientists haven't come up with any proof to debunk the paranormal? And we're the ones that are proving it, not them. I'm like, wow, really?
Yeah.
He has no idea. There are scientists, yeah, sure, who do go to try and debunk and do things. And a lot of what they say I will agree with. But there are others too who do believe that this is going on. And they're, believe me when I say this, they are well beyond us. They know a whole lot more about it. Um, so his argument with that is like just the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, how could you just sit there and dismiss science? Why would you do that? I know not everybody's going to agree with science. It's fine. I don't agree with all of it either, but still, it's those people. They're smart. They're intelligent. They're scientists. They know.
Right,
We're-
right. Well, David is saying you can form a school and teach anything these days. No governing body or
The thing
law.
is,
No
some people actually
repression.
say if regarding science, it's like, okay, well, can you go ahead and actually conduct that experiment in a controlled environment? In the paranormal, you don't have a controlled environment, and you can't make a controlled environment, even if you go ahead and take dolls to a cabin out in the woods.
Right.
There
You
goes
can't.
Jimmy putting his head down.
You can, however, make an attempt when you do an EVP session and you do believe that you got something. Repeat that question 9 times and see if
Right.
you get the same results. Usually, well, 99% of the time, you won't. The best I got was maybe the same answer 3 times, and that was it. Um, there's no way we can control our environment in most of these places.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes it hard. And science wants something to poke at. They usually want something physical. So
Hands on.
Well,
even though
Sarah says, I know people who took the course and they say they had a great time and enjoyed the information they got. I didn't take the course, so I can't comment on thoughts about the class. I don't know that I have a problem with the class per se, because I
Go
think
ahead.
that it is necessary. I think for a lot of investigators, or a lot of investigators that want to learn, and don't really know people in the field, that's a good way to get some of the
I
basics.
don't
No,
know.
we didn't
But
drop. Yep, he dropped.
He dropped.
oh, he dropped. But
Where'd he
it
go?
does not. Can you guys hear me?
I don't know, but she's frozen.
Yep, she's frozen. George, can you hear us?
I can hear everybody. No, and
I
she's
can hear
not
you guys
frozen.
too.
Yeah, she.
Can
Yeah.
you?
Well, we can't hear her if she's talking.
Yeah,
Can
George's
you-
coming back in. Okay, there we go.
Can you
Okay,
hear me, George?
Yeah, she's
I can hear
frozen.
you.
Yeah, she's frozen.
She's
Okay,
frozen,
well,
but no, she's not.
Like this.
You're good.
It's
Christy, I
got to
can
be
see
on
you.
their
You're fine.
side, but I'll refresh
Yeah.
to see if it'll update the screen. Hold
Huh.
on.
No, I'm good.
It
Look.
might be. Monica said it might be us.
Yeah, see,
It might-
it was her, because now I just see you and us.
Nice. Do I get a certificate now? Come on.
Yeah, I'll make you one if you want one.
All right, cool. I want 4 because I want to be the smart one.
I mean, see, like here,
Joe.
this is the Paranormal Clergy Institute, so
Yes.
you got that one.
There.
Beautiful.
Can you guys hear me now?
I see 2 of those. I see 2. There we go.
I don't know what happened.
It's okay. It's paranormal. It's a science.
Must
Yeah.
have been a phone demon.
There you
Gavin,
go.
can you guys hear us?
Now they're frozen.
Yeah, I see they're frozen too. Well, they told me that they were having a storm over there, I guess, with like hurricane type winds. So
Wow.
hopefully everything works out. Well,
Oh, he's moving
oh,
now.
there we are. Now they're moving. Oh, can you guys hear us?
Yeah.
I hear you.
Okay, good. All right. Oh, what the hell happened? It just dropped them out. Hold on. Lord, what's going on here?
Always blame it on paranormal.
All right.
All right.
We're
Are we
back.
back?
Everybody good?
Yes.
All right.
Is it lightning over there by you, Joe?
No,
Okay, could your screen just flash green for a second?
it's the green demon.
It's the green.
Oh, dang, your house is just full of
I
demons.
think so. He's got a gremlin.
Oh, man, you better put your demonology certificate to work now.
Yeah, I need to hang it on the wall. That's about
Well,
as useful as it's gonna
so
get.
back to what I was saying was, I do think that taking a class could be something that's beneficial. Now, does it make you any better than anybody else out here in the field? Absolutely not. I mean, I would take in the field experience over book knowledge any day. So I think that's important. Now, for demonology, I completely I think that again, I think that a class is very, very important, in something like that, and also finding somebody they can mentor under. And I feel like you actually have to have a few demonic cases, which is very hard, it seems, to find true demonic cases.
Right.
Before you can actually say, "Oh, I'm a demonologist." I get people all the time to say they're demonologists, and I'm like, "Well, where's the evidence of your demonic case?" Because I always am very interested in that, and nobody can ever give it to you. They'll just tell you stuff, but I'm like, "Okay, you're an investigator. Where's the evidence? Where that's what we do."
To be a
And they never do
demonologist,
it.
to be a demonologist, anyways, you have to go through the clergy. There's no
Yep.
other true way around it. In order to be considered a legitimate demonologist, you have to go through the clergy.
And then visit the Vatican.
It's the only way.
Renee says, "How many credits do I need to graduate?"
Well, see, the one thing is, I
You just
posted
need
something.
the internet.
Yeah, I posted something earlier today about the person that's actually doing the Ghostology 101. And it's really ridiculous that you're selling this seminar or class for $89 a pop. And my question
Oh, my
is
pipes are broken.
Well, it's cheaper than it was. It was like, I think there were some that were like $199. It was like $299 on another site a few years ago, and I think for demonology it was like $399. So
yeah,
You know, the best
what
way to
gives?
learn, the best way to learn
Yeah,
is if there's an event going on near you where you get to investigate with a bunch of different people, go.
yeah,
Hook up with a bunch of people and just sit back and watch and maybe ask some questions and just kind of learn.
yeah,
Everybody investigates differently. Um, find what is comfortable and best
Find out what
for you.
works for you. Find out what works
Right.
for you. I mean, a lot of these people now are depending on these stupid TV shows. It's called entertainment, and they all of
Right.
a sudden they watch a few TV shows and they are a paranormal investigator. I think the whole thing about going, taking classes, that's actually pretty brilliant because you can actually learn correctly. Let's say from people like you, or that may say, look, this is how you ask questions, or because I remember my first time going through a paranormal investigation, I was afraid to ask questions. I didn't want to sound like an idiot, you know.
Hmm.
But it would be nice to go through something very simple to, let's say, something so simple to graduate and get a certificate. Ask your questions, wait for 15 seconds, and then just there's certain things you should learn, But don't watch TV shows. Don't watch TV shows and think you're going to be a paranormal investigator because you watch TV shows on
right.
paranormal.
But the only other thing is that they shouldn't be charging for something that doesn't exist. I mean, they're
Absolutely true.
creating a curriculum that there is no definitive proof on. And I mean, like for
Exactly.
us, we do the Ghostology 101, and we do it at public libraries because we're doing a give back to the community, and we don't charge them nothing. The
But
people
that's
that want
different.
to
exactly.
learn,
But
yeah,
but you're right. That's how it should be. That's how it should be right there.
yeah,
You're
Especially if we want the newer investigators out there to stop making all these mistakes. And especially we get a lot of investigators that they go and investigate a few locations and then they get bored pretty quickly and they decide, like, "Oh, well, this is no fun anymore, let's go get an actual case," and they take on a case and they don't know what the hell they're doing.
right.
One of our listeners is asking, my question was actually from last night. Y'all talked about demonology. What is your take on demonology? So let's go ahead. Let's talk. Start with you, Gavin and Paul, and then we'll go to Joe and George. I want to hear your opinion as well.
What's your take on demonology?
I don't play with it.
I know we don't.
If there is a situation where there's a case, we always refer the case to more experienced people that are in the background who has done. I mean, we do keep a person that has worked with demonology and has worked with the venue of demonology for 35 years. He is actually semi-retired from the field, but he says for our case, he would help us out on occasion with us, but overall he has retired from the field, but he still studies. He always keeps studying, and I talk to him at least once a week because, number one, he is in frail health, but he also keeps us up on our toes on a few things. As far as religious-wise on demonology, I was raised Catholic, and I had gotten into this little scenario with someone on Facebook earlier, and I was raised Catholic. When I turned 14, 15 years old, I had to take a catechism class to become a full-fledged member of the Catholic Church. It's an 18-month course. You do not become certified in something. It's just one of those deals. You need to know all the ranks in the church, what we do for different functions and situations. We did have a 14-page chapter on demonology and what it meant for the Catholic Church, and it talked about, part of it was about exorcisms and all that stuff. That's when I learned that only 10% of all priests around the world is not really certified, but they are considered, they have an expertise or qualifications to actually do an exorcism.
But
And
those are
then
rare.
those are rare, and they have to be in. It's kind of like if you're trying to get into medical school and they only give you the top-notch people to get into a full-fledged, nice medical school. For instance, my daughter's going to veterinarian, and she has to take all 4 years of veterinarian, but they only take 10% of the top people across the United States to get into Aspen University. So that is,
I think they're having.
Yeah.
that's the far and few in between. Kind of the same way with the Vatican. If you're wanting to go into a certain area and you want to be, project yourself out into doing demonology, doing exorcism and stuff, you have to be at your game and have full-fledged total faith of what you are. So yeah, I know that there's only 10% worldwide priests of the Catholic faith is even entitled to be in part of that academy.
Okay,
The
great.
thing is, with Mr. Dennis getting his certificate to being a demonologist, God help us if he actually goes to a location where they actually have an issue, because he's going to cause more trouble than it's worth. And
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I'm trying to find it. Chad was saying the same thing. I would never teach a demonology class. That's just asking for trouble, dangerously trouble. He was saying you take something like that and you go, out trying to. Jesus says, if you think you're a demonologist after one class and you'll get yourself in big trouble, if not dead. I mean, you can't, again, take an online class and think that you're going to know what to deal with. Even the priests, they go through the classes, but then again, they are involved in exorcisms, and and they study under the priests that do exorcisms at the time. And again, I see, I'm seeing it. People are putting stuff. Hold on. I'll get to that question in just a second, Renee. Sarah was saying demonology is the study of demons, occult, etc. Exorcism is what people think they are speaking about. It depends on your religion and will depend on your study and internship of exorcism. And again, most people, I think, again, if you've been in the paranormal for a long time, people are looking for regular, spirits or demonic spirits. David Lowery was saying he's been in the field 30 years and he's still never encountered an actual demon. He said he's encountered some, pretty nasty ghosts pretending to be demons, but he hasn't actually ran into a demon. And I will say that I grew up Catholic too. And I've been able to see spirits and other entities my whole life. But I will tell you, I can't say that, what per se a demon is. And it could be something just really, really nasty. I mean, again, we just categorize things because, again, we don't know for sure. So we just put these titles in and put them in these category boxes. And
that's like Hollywood. That's because of Hollywood, though. Hollywood makes it look like, because I grew up in a Catholic. I'm Catholic still. I went to Holy Communion. I went to Catholic school and stuff. If I was to walk in and something that I felt, or somebody said, "Look, there's demons here," I'll be the first to say it. It's out of my league. I would get somebody that can do that, and I would say, "No, I'm not going to even be around demons if there is true demons." I've never come across anything demon at all, and I would not want to be honest with you.
I have, and it's not fun, but
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and I have to laugh at this. There are people like, yeah, I had a demonic case, we got rid of it and
Yeah.
whatever. I'm like, well, first off, how do you know it was a demon?
Mhm.
Or how do you know it's a ghost too?
Well, don't they carry their
honestly know.
certificate? Maybe the demon
Well,
has like a badge on.
oh, maybe,
like
I don't know.
And they saw the badge.
Yeah, this is Steve. He's He's our operator for demonic stuff. He calls them these demons. Anyways, um, so I have to laugh now when they say, "Oh yeah, we had this demonic case, got rid of it, no big deal, whatever." There are priests who are terrified of
Yeah.
dealing with demonic stuff. They're more qualified than these people who claim they are.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, doesn't that tell you something? If they're more terrified about it than you are, there's something wrong because you're probably not encountering something demonic. And if you are encountering something demonic and you got rid of it with ease, it probably was just there to aggravate. If it has a purpose or an intent, it's not going anywhere. I
You're yeah.
I can tell you, and if somebody prove me wrong, please. When there's demonic going on, it is not something that can just go away with a bunch of prayers and having somebody come in your house to get rid of it.
100%.
Sorry, it is a
100%.
fight. It could be a week fight. It could be a month. It could be a year. It could be a lifelong battle. And most people who do encounter demonic a demonic entity, infestation, whatever you want to call it, if they're married or if there's a relationship involved, those relationships, that marriage
Takes a
is
shit.
not going to last. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I hate to reference this, but let's look at the show Ghost Adventures when they did their aftershock stuff. Okay,
I've heard that name way too many times tonight.
every time they say in their show that they ran into a demonic entity, the people, their clients, all of them, their relationships have gone to crap. People that I know who say that they had a demonic um, issue, their relationship, their marriage, gone, destroyed.
But on the other side, Joe, I will say, because on the case that we were talking about last night with the guy we called out last night, he says that majority of his cases are demonic, and he's a psychic, and he says he visually can't see things, but he just knew because he used his ghost box. And I said, well, I'm not a demonologist, and I went in there and I did a regular investigation and a custom cleansing of their house and did all this stuff, and I said, and everything is gone. And he said, well, I know it was demonic because the client told me, I sensed that was the case, and that her husband and her marriage was falling apart. And that absolutely was true. There were no demons in there. There were some human spirits. There was one that was pretty nasty. The husband got out of the room because there would be times he would be waking up in the middle of the night and she'd just be staring at him. Or, they were scared about the sun, so he was sleeping closer to the son's room. But once we did the cleansing and we got rid of everything there, they got back together, sleeping in the same room. Their marriage is amazing. They just had another baby. So, again, even having spirits in your house can cause chaos and, issues in a marriage or within the home, especially if you're having activity that's affecting maybe only certain people in the home.
Right. Now,
Well, he just said something correct. I didn't mean to interrupt you, sir. I'm Paul.
Go ahead.
If you're gonna go into someone's house and say, yeah, there's demons here and stuff, they're gonna mentally believe that there's demons.
Right.
If you're gonna, but you went in there, you cleared their mind and got, you did the right thing. But if someone tells me, oh, you got demons in your house, I'm gonna start freaking out and all of a sudden believe that there's demons in my house. I mean, that's what happened with Ryan.
Well, and that's exactly what happened, to the point that they fled their brand new house that had just been built, fled it, and was cramped in a one room in her parents' apartment because they were so scared to go back. And all of this only because the guy wanted to give ghost tours in her house.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Now,
oh yeah, we actually
have the other part, real quick. Hold on, Gavin, 1 second. The other part too is psychology. You got to have some sort of psychology background, because there are people who may think that there is some kind of demonic thing going on, or they may be possessed, but it's a mental health issue.
Yep.
There could be a lot of stress going on, so much stress going on, like in a marriage or even just being single, that for whatever reason, you may believe that you got something demonic in your house and it's causing all of these things when nothing is going on. It's just what's going on with your mind.
Absolutely, you're right. Absolutely. I mean, I've heard people say, "Oh, I have headaches all the time. There must be something inside me. I have headaches all the time," or like you said, I'm always in a bad mood, and they think it's something to do with the demon or whatever. So, it is psychological. Someone could just be imbalanced or not balanced. It's a medical thing. So,
Yeah, and the
So
thing
what were
is,
you
if
going
you
to say,
actually
Devin?
go to
Oh,
a
good.
house, what it is like if you actually go to a house and they say that they have a demonic presence or something like that. One thing that you would need to do is actually check the house and
yeah.
see what's making these people kind of nuts. It could be a gas leak,
Yep.
something like that around the house that could be
Yep.
causing all this. High
Smart
EMF can
meters.
cause hallucination, gas leaks can, carbon monoxide, all that good stuff. So you would have to look at that stuff too.
Do
But
you
you have
guys have
someone like Dennis
smart meters?
in there, huh?
Do you guys have smart meters out there?
Smart meters.
Yeah.
Obviously not.
What is
Okay,
smart?
so they're through the electric company, and there are these boxes that they put on the outside of your house, and it said that the meter guy can go by and it can read your meter without somebody having to come in and write it down. But these things are affixed to the outside of your home, and we actually had a case where they were having all kinds of, huh?
Is it the round thing with the little dials on it?
No, no, this is actually a whole different box. It's an electric box for the meter reading, and that they put, and we've got them out here all over California. So, but we
It
had a
scans
case.
like you would scan your groceries at a grocery store. Is pretty much what that is, Gavin.
Oh, okay.
Well,
We
see,
don't have that.
we don't have that. Ours is electronically sent to where they don't even come out and read it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
it's the
Well,
same
the
thing.
EMFs though on this are so strong that it will literally cause you to have hallucinations. I mean, they have lawsuits on these things going on right now, because people were starting to hear voices and all kinds of things and think it was paranormal. And then like with one case we had, they were determined that they had something going on, and literally right behind where the daughter was sleeping, in an extra room that was built in the garage, was this smart meter right at the base of where their head would be. And it's only happened in that room. Well, yeah, when they were in bed, of course, they were just getting zapped by all of these, EMFs and
Right.
hallucinating.
Well, see, the same thing about that is, just picture that house. These people are having issues. They go ahead and call someone. You have someone like Dennis come in, and he tries to do a thing. He says, "Oh, there's a demon here." Psychologically, they're going to think it's a demon because they got something going on in their head, and they're actually going to think that the house is covered with demons. And he's going to try to do something and probably make himself look like a fool. And then the people that are living there are going to be scared out of their wits. They're going to want to move, but it's had nothing to do with demons. It had something to do with high EMF or carbon monoxide poisoning.
There you go.
Yeah,
One of the
absolutely.
things too is, when we investigate, we honestly, we don't know what we're walking into. And, we could go in there and we can investigate somebody's home for a day, a few days, maybe a couple of weeks, and we can walk away without having any kind of negative experience and call it, a human spirit. Um,
Right.
but the thing is, I'm only speaking of my experience, is that demonic entities, anyways, for whatever reason, they pick and choose certain people. Um,
Yep.
And, somebody could have something demonic in their home, never know it, move out, somebody else can move in, and boom,
Right.
they're experiencing a lot of these things. Now, that's a very rare thing, anyways. But we don't, point is, we don't know what we're going into. We don't know what we're exactly communicating with. And we have to be careful. And that's why you have to have those long-term relationships with your clients. One of my clients back in Michigan, I still, every other week or whatever, message her, trying to find out if everything is okay. Um, but you always leave that door open, because just in case a simple haunting turns into something far worse,
Oh, right. Right.
you can go back and help them.
100%. And they usually end up kind of, almost ending up like family anyway, especially if you work for them long enough, because they're very they're just so happy you've been able to help them. But Sarah's saying something very important, I think, because I've said this a lot in my lectures and when I've been teaching as well. She says people claim negatives are demonics. People who are nice in life are the same in death.
Mm-hmm.
Murderous people and evil entities or people are also the same way in death. But people oftentimes confuse them with demons. Though I never came across a murderous entity and demon to try to compare the two flavors. But again, yeah, I've had a lot of human spirits that have wreaked real havoc and hurt people. But they think that if something can hurt you, it can push you, it can touch you, then it has to be demonic. They don't think that just a regular spirit could touch you, but that's absolutely not the case.
That could also be, a scratch or a push could be misinterpreted.
Oh
we're
yeah.
all, we're all guilty of this. Sometimes, when something happens to us and we don't understand it, for whatever reason, we overreact to it. It's a very natural thing. And, like a client that I was talking about from Michigan, she got pushed, and I'm thinking, she was like, all upset and stuff about it and afraid of it. But I'm thinking, and I told us, and sometimes it does happen. It's not like they're really trying to push you or hurt you. They just want your attention, and that
100%.
you know that could be happening too. I mean, there's just the paranormal is complicated. It is not easy, and experience does matter because you're gonna run into things that you've never experienced before, problems that you've never experienced before, and you're going to have to learn how to troubleshoot those things. You're going to have to learn how to figure those things out. Uh, you know, I've been doing this for 24 years. I am not a freaking expert. I'm not a professional either.
Right.
And there are people who I go up to and I'm like, hey, you know what? Either it's with equipment or dealing with a certain haunting. I'll ask them, hey, look, this is what I ran into. Uh, have you ever experienced anything like that? And either I'll get a yes or a no, and then they'll tell me, how they went about resolving the issues. So you're always going to encounter something different. Uh,
Right.
and you're constantly learning, you're constantly evolving, you're constantly changing your opinion to a certain extent on things. But there's also a point to where you're just arrogant. And
Right.
with that guy, pure arrogance. I mean, this guy literally, like, he made it a point to say that he wants to be on a TV show, that he wants to
Yep.
be famous. I got news.
That was
I got
big
news.
mistake.
It's
Yeah.
not that fun. It really
Yeah, I
isn't.
mean that is very true. And Gavin, I know that we talked too, and you sent me a lot. He does definitely seem like his intent is not so much to help anybody, but more to become famous. Which, unfortunately, we're seeing that a lot more here in the field. It's not about really helping people. It's not about even educating people. It's about trying to make that money. And the majority of us know that we spend more money or put more money into the paranormal than we ever get out of it. And that's very apparent very quickly in time. So then everybody
No.
decides that, oh, I need to make some extra money. So that's why, you get a lot of the YouTube channels and different things, popping up. But what's your opinion, with him as far as like wanting to be famous? I mean, how are you going to get famous when you're faking things? When, he's actually making these videos. So it's not as if somebody's setting him up and editing his videos.
Yeah.
The stuff I've seen hasn't been very convincing, that's for sure.
Well, I had a talk with Paula last night, and this is what I came up with. I mean, I'm like, okay, well, first of all, how on earth does he figure out exactly where these EVPs are popping up? If is he listening to hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of
Right.
audio? Because that's horseshit. Joe hated that when he was the producer for our show. He actually sat there and listened to hours and hours and hours and hours of audio. Yet Dennis is sitting there, boom, hey, I got an EVP of somebody saying something. Okay, there's this one particular one where he was down in the basement by himself in the dark, He claims he has all these night vision cameras, but yet he put on his cell phone and you could barely even see him. So he said that there was an exhale. Common sense on this, looking at his environment for what I could actually see. And at first I thought maybe, well, it was an exhale from him because if you breathe, it's going to go down. His recorder was down on the desk, so it would have float over his chest and went over to the recorder. But he went ahead and said, no, that's not what happened. So then I started listening to it even more and came up, okay, he took his Ghost Meter Pro, dragged it across the desk, picked it up, and then dropped it down next to the recorder. And I even demonstrated that just by dragging something on my desk in my office. Exact freaking sound. I told him that, oh, no, it's not. It's an exhale. So I wound up talking to Chris Houston. And I'm like, okay, we're trying to school this clown with audio. I'm like, do you know anything about audio? Do you know anything about kilohertz? Do you know anything about the noise floor? Any of that stuff?
Cookie.
Yes, he is. He is very smart in audio engineering. So I went to him and asked him, and we both tried to school him. And he swears up and down, no, it's an exhale, it's an exhale. But going back to the same thing, all his EVPs has something with a little child talking or, a woman's voice. Okay, he's in a basement. There is a window that's over by his head that goes out to the sidewalk area. You got his kids there. You got the TV on. How are you supposed to conduct an EVP session with all that contamination and yet come right out and say, oh, I heard a voice? I call bullshit on it all. And I'm sure if Joe watched them all, he'd say the exact same thing because there's no way.
I'm going to, digital recorders, man, those things can be very, very sensitive. You can, without hearing with your ear, you can pick up stuff. I'm letting my dogs out, so excuse me. You can pick up, people way down the road, blocks away. You can pick up somebody else's TV who lives, a couple houses down. That does happen. We may not be able to hear them, but once they get to the digital recorders, that sound is being sampled, and it's not a one-to-one exact representation of what was originally the source of the sound.
Right. And one of the things
Sarah says the mouth breather definitely was him. So, I mean.
Yeah. And one of the other things I tried to explain to him, we did an investigation in a place called the Campbell House in Owensboro, Kentucky. There's a story that there's an old man that died on the 4th floor, and he always opens up his door to holler down for someone to bring him something to drink. So we are down in the game room area, and we're doing an EVP session, and I swore we heard a voice that sounded like somebody hollering, and it sounded like it came from the 4th floor. Upon digging into it and looking at the surroundings and everything, we were in the game room, so there were windows all around us. So it's kind of like an inverted Millennium Falcon cockpit. And come to find out that it was not a voice that came from the 4th floor, but yet some jackass drove on down the road with his window open with his radio on. But that was a block over. And we still captured it on our recorder, and it sounded like from inside the house.
Another great example, St. Albans, great place. When you go down to the bowling alley and the boiler room, it is not underground.
No.
It appears to be underground, but it's really not. And you're getting traffic noise, you're getting people talking, you're getting all kinds of stuff. So when I was going over that stuff, which sucked, I heard all kinds of things. And it was really hard for me to figure out what was an actual EVP and what was outside noise. Cars and stuff like that are obvious, but people talking, that was kind of hard. That was a challenge.
The boiler room also has those openings underneath the door and the side of the door for water to run out.
So
you can actually hear whatever's out on the other side of that door.
But again, there's where when you're a newer investigator, you so badly want to obtain evidence that you will overlook all of the obvious just to do it, and then get pissed when other seasoned investigators try to educate you on it.
Yeah, then All of a sudden,
Speaking on
because we didn't catch it.
Hold on, hold on.
it's-
Go ahead, Paula.
Speaking of not to get off the main subject at hand, the other thing is that he does that's my red flag issue. I know some people brings, if we're doing an investigation in a location and we know that some people have several stories of us telling us there's a small child there. So a lot of people bring, a teddy bear, or bring something for a soft, what I consider a soft
Trigger object.
trigger object. Understandable. We had a Furby. Okay.
Loved a photo.
Yeah. Until after it went to St. Albans and it didn't work correctly ever since. But anyway, that's beside the point. But the point of it is that you also got to pick what your trigger objects. You don't use your kids. This guy uses his kids for trigger objects.
Yeah.
I was trying to find that comment to bring that up and ask about that because, again, we talked about last night. I have a big pet peeve, to be absolutely honest, is having children investigating in the paranormal. I know I've got a lot of friends in the paranormal that, do either have their own kids in their investigative teams, or I found out yesterday that there's YouTube channels of families investigating together, things like that. I just think that it is so dangerous. I mean, again, we take that chance when we go out. We don't even know what to expect or what we may encounter and how it may affect us afterwards. But we're adults and we take that chance. We know there is that chance that something could be really bad or something could happen to us. But we take that. When I feel like, do you not care about your kids? Like, why would you even bring them? Even if you educate your kids, even if you're the best investigator, you educate your kids on the way to protect yourself and everything. Shit, even the best people who have dealt with this their whole life have still been attacked and had things happen, me being one of them. So, again, like, what do you guys think about utilizing your kids in investigations or in the paranormal period?
Real quick, I have taken my son, who's 16, to
Okay, but that's a little different though. He's a teenager and he's an older. I'm talking about young kids up to say, 12 or yeah, I want to say even 14 or 15. Like, I just think that you need to be at a certain age.
For me, I think, because honestly, I got started when I was 14 years old. I was like pretty much dragged into it. I had bad experience, and some people wanted to know about it. And the deal was, hey, we'll take you to locations we feel are safe, and we want to learn about your experience. And in return, this is what we'll do. So I got started at 14. I was almost 15. I was a baby. I know I shouldn't have been doing it at that age, but I did. But I think it's okay as long as they are surrounded by other kids. It's an event. It's a fun event. It's not going to be serious. It's going to be lighthearted, and they're not going to be there all night. A lot of places do that, have those kind of things for the younger kids, and it's only for like 2 hours. It's during the day. Nothing scary. Things like that are fine. Don't bring a child into a situation that could be potentially dangerous. Don't bring them to a private investigation. Don't take them to a place like St. Albans. Don't take them to a place like OSR or Waverly. Don't do that, because kids, they're at that age where their minds, they're not completely developed.
They're vulnerable.
They're extremely vulnerable. That's where I draw the line.
No, that makes sense. I don't know, Christina, if you can hear us, you're frozen. I don't know if you guys can see she's frozen.
I can't see her.
Disappeared.
What's that?
Disappeared on the.
She disappeared.
I don't know if she can hear us. Hopefully she'll come right back. But I agree with you. I don't know if you guys can hear me either. But the whole children thing. I mean, I've had attachments. I've been scratched, and can you imagine if it was a child? Like you said, someone brings their daughter or son, age 9, because they think it's fun. I mean, you're taking a real serious chance that you could have something seriously happen to your daughter or your son. It makes zero sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they'll be traumatized.
What's that?
They'll be traumatized.
Oh, absolutely. What if something does happen?
Yeah, think about it. When we get scratched, well, yeah, we see you. Think about it. When we get scratched, we're like, oh, cool, we got scratched. If an 8-year-old gets scratched, they're going to scream bloody murder, and it's going to affect them for the rest of their life and probably traumatize them.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's
I don't,
where
I don't know about that. I know some 8-year-olds who handle that much better than a lot of adults I've investigated with, to be honest.
I mean, and
But
again,
I get the point. I get the point, though.
and I don't think that
I
educating
don't
the
know if
kids
Christina, can you
is
hear us at all? Because you're not even there anymore. So
I
she's
see
there.
her on my end.
She's there.
Can you guys hear me?
Is she frozen?
No, she's not frozen. We hear her. She's talking.
Oh, I can't hear her at all. Okay, that's fine.
You can't hear her at all.
No, I don't hear her at all.
Well, you guys can let him know
I
when.
don't want to interrupt her.
But I still think that it's good to teach children. I mean, I have my children are sensitives as well, and so I think that when it's good for us to educate them. But I don't know per se to be taking them out investigating to locations where something could happen. I mean, I educated my kids on it. I mentored children and teen psychic or people with children with abilities for 10 years. And, that was my biggest thing is that they all, as soon as it got real popular, they all wanted to go and investigate. And absolutely not. Not if you were mentoring under me. It was not allowed until you were at least 17 and with your parents' permission. So I think that, again, it's important, but we'll see. Here, let's get George back on here, see if he can hear me now. Can you hear us now,
Yes.
George?
Oh, yeah. I was all by myself.
I see a top of a hat.
There he is. Oh, I see. Oh.
Now I see a picture frame.
I see a hat.
There he is. Well, the only thing I would say, going back to what Joe said, but here's the thing. If you have an event where you're having children come in and they're investigating, they're doing it in a daytime investigation. Spirits hang out all hours of the day. It doesn't matter daytime, doesn't matter if it's nighttime. But what are the chances that you have a child that is special and they can actually get an attachment from an evil entity?
Especially a special needs child.
Yes. So that's one reason why you really do not want to have any children going to any paranormal event, because there is a slim possibility that could happen.
Well, don't you think it's smart that I've never investigated with a child. And shouldn't there be something in a so-called rule book? Like
what rule book?
There's a rule book?
There is no damn rule book. Are you kidding me? This is why our field is so screwed up.
That's why paranormal is so screwed up.
Well, let's think about this. Okay, on one end, yeah, maybe a rule book would be nice, but on the other hand, it would probably suck because
Bible.
Yeah. On the other hand, well, then you're going to have different paranormal religions. Oh
yeah.
But yeah, we're going to decipher it all different. Anyways, that would, to me, would sort of limit, a lot of things, because let's face it, there's a lot of things that people do that I may not like, or I might do something that people don't like, and they could say, well, because I don't agree with this, nobody else should do it.
That's horseshit.
Right.
But, so we would really be putting a limit on ourselves. And then now we have some overhead something, controlling all of us and how we do our investigations. And I don't like that.
Well, I think we do need like some rules and some governing bodies in this field, because it's just like Harry Carey out there. Anybody can come. I mean, we got pedophiles, we got people fake. We got some of the worst that are ending up in the paranormal field, because there is no checking. Nobody knows anything. Everybody just kind of connects at these events and things and have no clue until something comes out about them. And then they're like, oh, shit, this is what guy does. I just want to say hi real fast to our friend Scott Grumwald. He said, my parents took me to places when he was young. So, I mean, there are, again, I know a lot of people who, if their parents are into the paranormal, they take the kids. They want to educate them. They want to do it. Again, Phil Sumner said, it should be up to the parent. It's their kids. I agree with that too. Again, though, I think that
to a certain extent, but just don't use your child as a trigger object. Don't take your 6-year-old, put him in a chair in the middle of the basement and say, there might be a little spirit that comes and touches you or yells at you. You tell mommy or daddy that they do.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm not okay with anything like that.
I mean, that I have an issue with.
Melissa
Lord.
says, kids have enough to deal with, let alone bringing them into this stuff. And,
Oh,
I have to agree. And then Scott says, Teen's Guide to the Paranormal. Yeah, well, I guess.
I love Scott.
I mean,
You have to.
extra level investigations. There is a couple of high schools out there that has a paranormal team
yeah, they do.
that has a teacher.
Yes.
And their advisor is a science teacher and a history teacher.
I know.
That investigators, but they are teams and they're 10th or 12th graders on the team, and there's 12 of them, and one of them's in one of the local high schools in Western Kentucky.
But no physics?
I just know science teachers. Science teachers, one of the advisors, and a history teacher, so the co-advisor.
Wow.
And there's four
out here in California, they actually, in the high schools, they do have some of them that have these group. It's a paranormal investigating group, and they actually bring in paranormal teams to be the teachers. And I'm like, well, how do you know that they know what the hell they're talking about? Now you're teaching all the kids. What about if you teach them wrong? We know that there's a lot of people out here who don't know what the hell they're doing whatsoever. So Scott says, Google it.
So this is one thing we actually did because, there are.
Oh, he froze up.
Oh, he froze up.
You actually get to.
Okay.
You actually get to go ahead and see how other people investigate, and that's really a good thing. And we went ahead and put together an event where we had, how many people was it, Joe? 8 or 10 total?
I believe it was 10.
Okay, we had 10 people that came with us, and we went to Waverly Hills. And our primary focus of the show was to film other
Oh, he cut out again. Let's see if he comes back.
how they investigate
There
and
you
things
go.
like that. So that was really cool. We actually got to see how other people got to investigate, and we actually could learn from them. They could learn from us. So it's basically a learning experience. And I mean, we're all on a learning curve. We're constantly learning, like Joe said. There is no end to this. We're constantly going to be students. We're going to be learning and learning and learning until somebody finally can have definitive 100% proof of the afterlife, and then we can say, yes, it's over, it's done, it's there.
Well,
would be
Kristen,
so awesome.
Kristen Holmes is asking, my house is haunted, and I have a 12-year-old son had his first experience with the paranormal in our house. We have a ghost in this house. How do we protect my son that's 12 experiencing ghosts?
There's not really a way you can. If it's not hurting him, that's fine. I'm sure it may be scary to him, but eventually they'll just it won't bother him as much. I'm sure from time to time, he might get startled. We all do. I've about jumped out of my shoes a couple of times at Hellsbar Dam, but talk to him, assure him that it's not going to bother him as long as it's not being physical. If it's moving things around and stuff like that, just let him know. Look, it's not easier said than done. It's not hurting you. It probably doesn't want to hurt you. It just wants your attention. Just keep your eye out because you never know exactly what that is.
Right, and definitely. Go ahead.
Oh, we are afraid of things that we don't understand. And
yeah, I was just going to say that.
That's the problem, So, and it may give an opportunity, if that's going on, it may give an opportunity for, your son. Did she give an age?
12.
12.
12. It may give her son and even her an opportunity to learn and maybe have a breakthrough, something that we've been trying to do for a long time. And you never know where breakthroughs will come from.
100%.
He might be the golden child.
He could you never know.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but it could very well be,
yeah,
that,
yeah.
And again, just like Joe was saying, educating your child is the best thing. As humans, it's human nature to be afraid of what we don't understand. So a lot of times, just by educating them, it changes their whole perception of everything. But you have to talk to them. don't discount it. Take what your kids are saying as true, unless you can find out otherwise. Again, children, that's when they're the most open to spirit activity. So we have to listen to them. We have to take it. Don't discount it. And again, educate or reach out to somebody that knows about this. If you don't have the education yourself, reach out. You can always send me a message to, again, like I said, I mentor kids with abilities for 10 years. So definitely can give you some tips on what to do. Let's see, we got some more things. Chad saying, growing up with it and being put into it by going on an investigation are two different things. And again, I do have to agree too.
Yeah.
A lot of kids like myself, you grow up in the paranormal, that is your life. It's not something you choose or your parents chose, and just it's interesting. If you grow up, it's just what it is. But again, I think educating kids that have abilities and see things in the paranormal is important. But again, I don't know that there's any importance of taking them and teaching them to investigate at a young age. I just personally, that's just my opinion. I would not take my young kids and put them in that kind of possible danger, because again, you don't know what you're going to encounter when you take your kids out there. And if something did happen, it would be something that you could never forgive yourself. I mean, nothing happened when you took your son, Joe, but what if something would have went out and he would have been attacked or got an attachment that it's something that you couldn't help him with, and it was tormenting him?
My
You
son
would beat
actually
yourself
got
up.
scratched.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, he actually did get scratched at Hales Bar Dam, but took him out of that situation, and about 5 minutes later, he's like, all right, I'm ready, let's go. I'm like, okay, all right. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah, I'm fine.
But I mean, I understand about the children thing, but there's different circumstances. Like the Scott Greenwald, he's an amazing investigator. Scott Greenwald is just 1 out of 1,000. He's amazing at what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't it depend on the age of the child? Yes, but if they're really developed and smart and mature, don't you think it might be okay? Because I mean, like I said, Scott Greenwald is extraordinary at what he does.
My kids have actually been around. We lived in 2 places that had activity, and my kids were around. There's really nothing that we could, do about it. But, we were there. We were living there. It's not like we could just pack up and go somewhere else. So, just kind of had to keep an eye out on things like that. So my kids have always been around paranormal, anyways. I can't say always, but
right.
For me, I actually stopped investigating for a while because my daughter, she was a baby, and I knew that there was a risk, and that risk wasn't worth putting my daughter in any danger. That just was not going to happen. Right. So I actually stopped for a while, and then when I was going to get ready to go back into it, well, along comes my son. So I took a break for quite a few years, and I was fine with that. Then I got back into it.
Well, again, maybe it's just an individual case by case scenario, depending on how mature the kid is, and how the parents, the knowledge of the parents and what they've educated them. All these different things. I sorry to cut you off, Joe, but we only have less than 12 minutes left, so.
Well, I'm going to hop off here, and because Gavin and Paula, they're the ones who were supposed to be scheduled for the show, not me. I'll go ahead. I'll hop off of here. I just wanted to throw my 2 cents out there because
hey, it's been great having you on. Again, if you want to come on the show yourself, I mean, we'll set you up. We'd love to talk to you. You got a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
He looks like a gadget with that fan above his head.
Yeah. Go gadget helicopter thing.
When you have it placed like perfectly there, yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. It's like you're going to take off and fly off the screen.
That is awesome. I somehow I always, I'll tell you, always something stupid happens.
Oh yeah.
Always.
Oh yeah.
That's perfect awesome show to have it happen on. So, all right, thanks so much, Joe. Completely appreciate you coming on and giving your input. It's been a great time having you.
All right.
Take care, sir.
All right.
What a good guy.
Okay, I got a question for you. What are your thoughts on expectant mothers investigating?
Absolutely not.
I agree with you on that. Someone
Yeah.
actually asked me that. And they wanted to actually come along with us to Waverly, and they told me that they were expecting. I said, "Nope,
No,
sorry."
I would never. I would. I mean, me personally, or with my team, I would never allow somebody who's pregnant to come on.
Mhm.
Again, I have seen some of the craziest things happen on investigations. I mean, I was literally levitated 3 feet off the ground and thrown 3 feet across the floor in front of a whole bunch of witnesses at an investigation that I felt like, oh, everything was going to be perfectly fine. Can you imagine if something like that happened to somebody who's pregnant,
Yep.
or they get pushed down a stair, or just anything that could happen? I've seen people. I actually did go to a conference, and they were doing a séance with a Ouija board, and I was covering it. I went through to go and check it out, and they had a woman who was there for the conference, and she was like 6.5 months pregnant, I think that she said. And she went into full blown labor in the middle of this seance. And they had to
Oh,
call the ambulance and take her out. And she had the baby premature. I mean, it was crazy. So I 100% wouldn't. I mean, do we know it had anything to do with, the paranormal or anything like that? No, but we also don't know that it didn't have anything to do with it. And the fact that it happened, during a seance and doing stuff with the paranormal, I mean, I would never allow it with my team or anybody that I'm investigating with. But again, I've seen it happen plenty of times.
mm, mm, mm.
And Gina's saying too, yeah, expecting moms, that's not a good judgment whatsoever. I agree. And let's see.
There was one other thing it just popped into my head, and I was going to ask Paula about that after we got off here. But when children 4, 5, 6, 8, they're saying that they have an imaginary friend. What are the chances of that actually being a spirit?
50-50.
My imaginary friend's a dinosaur. No. No, but seriously, you got all these kids saying, I have an imaginary friend. Well, what are the chances of that is actually a dead child that they're conversing with?
Pretty good chance.
Right.
I'll tell you, I haven't come across too many kids, including myself, who saw them as a child, that they were imaginary. Because for many of us, they don't ever go away. So we didn't make up in our mind. They're not like a split personality. It's not mental illness that I have any of these things. It is what it is, which is why I say, before, parents weren't as educated in the information. There wasn't so much information out there. But now that there is, and there's people you can reach out to, like this is a time, if your child does come to you and say something's scaring them, they're seeing something, take that serious and do what you can, or reach out to who you can to see what to do and how to help your child. The worst thing you can do is say, oh, little Tommy, you've got a great imagination there, or oh, it's your imaginary friend, and that, like they told me,
Yep.
and it'll go away soon. Well,
Mhm.
shit, I'm still waiting for them to go away, and they ain't going nowhere. So
Yep. Yep. There's a lot of families out there, and parents will be like exactly what you said. Oh, don't worry about it. It's just your imaginary friend. Go to bed.
Right.
So, and then the kid will be traumatized for the rest of their life.
I like monsters in the closet, monsters on the bed.
Monsters in the closet, huh? Monsters Inc.
No, I'm just getting it
Oh.
in general. They don't
Scare
want
floor.
all right, so we've got about 10 minutes left in the show, so I want to make sure that if there's any more information that we want to get about old Dennis, I think that we should recap now. So again, let's say his full name. Let's talk about who he's with, so people know. I know that he goes under. They go under some other group names or stuff, so people can go and check their pages. See if you are a friend with this guy. See if you're part of his pages, and if so, again, people, you got to really rethink. Just stop adding people just to have people on your page. It's just
Oh yeah.
crazy.
You wind up getting some pedophile or something on your list.
Yeah.
You have to start fingerprinting people before they're allowed to come in your house.
Man, you know how many waves I get a day? Jesus.
Well, I mean, what you're saying, Paul, is very true. I mean, again, that's why I don't completely agree with Joe on the go. Not being a good thing to have some governing body over the field, because I think that we definitely need to. I think that, to be an investigator, you should have to go through a background check. Now, am I saying that, if you've ever been in trouble with the law ever in your life, that you should then be banned from being able to, take on private cases? Absolutely not. But if you're a pedophile, or, you've killed somebody, or you've done some, real major stuff, would you want somebody like that investigating with you, or, with you, and you don't know who they are, the real who they are? Because people can make themselves out to be anything that they think you want them to be
Yeah.
online.
How about someone who's been arrested so many times for being a stalker?
Again, yeah, I would be a little concerned about becoming friends with that person, because more than likely, if I said something, which I always do, that pisses somebody off, then they're going to stalk me. I'm going to be the next victim.
Well, the sad thing, this Dennis actually stalked his brother's wife for the longest time until she put an EPO on his ass.
I
I mean,
mean,
that's ridiculous.
it's
I'm
like,
sorry if I have a location and I find out, this person is a stalker and how they actually conduct themselves at a location. You think I would let them in my location to investigate? Hell to the no.
Absolutely not.
I mean, damn. Go somewhere else.
someone that can't keep their hands to themselves.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Right.
that too.
well, I'm telling you, and that's another reason that I have a big issue with this, is being a single female investigator. And I do a lot of traveling, I do a lot of investigating with other people that I don't know. I mean, they're at conferences, or I get invited to cover things and I don't know them.
Hmm.
And that's always been something that I've been a little concerned with, because a lot of times I am, surrounded by, groups of men and things like that. And again, I don't know any of these people. And I've had a few times where people from, these groups or something are somehow attracted to me, and they find out I'm single, or even if they don't know I'm single, and they've, touched me inappropriately, or, said some inappropriate stuff that made me feel very uncomfortable. And again, that's what kind of made me start thinking, like, you know what, Christina, you're an investigator and a researcher. You got to start doing a little bit more research on these people that, just invite you out of the blue to go and investigate with them.
Oh yeah.
Again, like our guest last night. I mean, out of the blue, seemed like a nice enough guy, and then when it all comes out, oh man, the guy is a douchebag from hell, and that's where he needs to be sent. So I do think that there is something that needs to be done. Again, I think that maybe it's too far gone at this point. I mean, this is something that
Oh
should
yeah.
have been done 15 years ago, when it was, a lot less people in the field, and it would have been easier to create something like this. Now we've got so many people, and you're never going to stop it. Nobody can agree on anything, so why would they agree on any rules? I mean, so you'd have your own little, cliques of people that were like outlaws, and they're not going to follow all the rules and do everything different. We already have that. So I mean, it's sad, and people come to me plenty of times. Oh, we need to, have some kind of a governing body. And plenty of my friends that have been in the field for a very, very long time have tried, and nothing has been successful. So I just don't know that it's ever going to happen.
Probably not, because this field has gone to hell in a handbasket. I mean, it is a cutthroat field. It's a backstabbing field.
It's a
Um,
three-ring circus.
Three ring circus. You got people at location talking about you behind your back. I mean, it's just competitive field. People want to, get that number one evidence, and they don't care who they're going to step on to get it. If you're with
Right.
another group, they're going to try to steal your evidence.
Yep.
I mean, like for us, we're a show. So when we go someplace like with Waverly Hills, we actually ask for all their footage for the camera, so that way we put it in the episode. People can actually see them investigate, see what they capture. We're not keeping it from them to steal their evidence. This is so we can actually show everybody, hey, this is Sammy investigating. This is what she got.
But that's what's missing. That's what's missing in the paranormal field, though. Nobody wants to share anything. They all
No,
want to keep it a
keep
big
it.
secret. They just want to
Yeah.
keep it's a big secret, and that's
Mhm.
where the whole the paranormal unity
Par-
will
Unity.
never it will never happen. Never.
Plus,
Yeah.
people can't handle criticism.
Yeah, people can't handle criticism because once you start criticizing their evidence, they get all butthurt.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
but the thing is too is that we also have a whole bunch of know-it-alls in this field, and I've seen people post up some really good evidence, and you've got people that are just tearing them apart, and it's got to a point. I don't post any of my evidence online, but you know what? I don't need anybody to tell me one way or another. If I help my client, that's all that I care about, and I could give a damn what anybody thinks, because again, nobody can agree on anything. So, and it's not even constructive criticism that is given, when somebody puts something up that's new, like, the ever and never ending orb phenomena, when you first started out, the dust orbs, and
Oh,
instead of somebody coming out and saying, look, I know you're new to the field, you maybe should take a photography class, these are the different things that can cause this. No, they're like, you stupid asshole, you don't know what the hell you're doing, get out of the field, blah blah blah, this is the problem. And so why would anybody want to share anything publicly, because you never know what people are gonna say or do. So it is just falling apart around us. And
and
again,
besides
that's
that,
what
there's a
happens.
lot of bullshit videos that are out there. People are putting
Oh,
together stuff so they can just get into the limelight, and they're actually staged, they're set, but they'll swear up and down, "Oh no, I captured this." No, you didn't. Horseshit. I've seen so many, like you said, there are some videos where it actually looks like it is real 100% evidence, and they stick to it. They swear by it. But then when I go ahead and look at it, I mean, I'm not a know-it-all, but I'm using common sense. I'm looking at the environment where they got this evidence from, and I'm thinking to myself, going, okay, so let's see, this building is perfectly old. There's dirt on the ground. So obviously it has to be dust or particles. It is not a freaking orb. And then one thing
Right.
I'll ask them, like, okay, when you were in complete darkness, did this thing have its own illuminance? Were you using an IR camera? Because the IR camera is going to pick up dust like
right.
that. If you use a standard, regular, run-of-the-mill camcorder and you see something light up, then 1% chance that is a real bona fide orb, because it's giving off its own illuminance, and you can see it with a regular run-of-the-mill camera because those damn things can't see in the dark.
Right. And if you can get some intelligent response or movement from it, again, that's more of there's so many explanations for what people pick up as so-called orbs and all this kind of stuff. So that's a whole nother show all in itself. But I do want you guys, you have an announcement about your podcast. It's got some changes coming up here soon. And I want to give you a chance to announce that, as well as tell people where they can find you, find your shows, find your Amazon show, all those things.
For shameless plug time, huh?
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, we are starting season 2 of the Phantasmic Journey podcast, and we're going to be on a radio network, WCGT, and that'll be in September. So we're getting all of our guests that want to be on the show, and if anybody listening want to be a guest, go ahead and private message me, and we'll get you set up on the schedule. You know that we have our first season of the Paranormal Journey into the Unknown. It is a new original series on Amazon. You can go there and watch it now. Season 2 and 3, which season 2 should be released probably February of 2019, with probably an early release of season 3, maybe October, November of 2019. I'm not really sure. So, and of course, you can find us on Facebook or on the web. Just do a search for Phantasmic Ghost Hunters with a P, not an F. We have a YouTube channel where you can actually check out the first season of the Phantasmic Journey podcast. We had some kick-ass guests on there. I mean, we had location owners, we had authors, we had gear designers. So, I mean,
we had a night of the psychics.
Yeah, we had a night of the psychic. That was awesome.
Awesome.
Two psychics going head to head. So,
and it made one of our guests who was paying attention. Of course, we didn't have a call in; we just had it where people could message us in a chat room, and it ended up having it ended up being an emotional night before the night was over with.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a very moving episode.
Yep. Corvinus, just to let you know, he's saying this isn't the Christina I know from last year. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm the same Christina. I do the same shows. You just got in late. I don't know if you caught up on what the topic was, but I'm the same person doing the same shit I've been doing for the last 8 years. Just a new day, another show.
Are you
So,
ready for this?
oh
Now,
yes,
now, sing this in your head. This belongs to Ray Steven, the Streak.
Do you know race into the street?
You know that one where he goes, "Here he comes, boogity boogity. Here he
Oh
goes,
yeah.
boogity,
Go, go,
Yeah.
go.
okay.
He ain't got no common sense to show. Yo, yes, they call him the menace, the paranormal
Paranormal
menace. Boogity boogity, fastest thing on 2 feet. Boogity boogity. He's just as proud as he can be of his demonology. He's gonna give us a peek. Oh, yes, they call him the menace, the paranormal menace. Boogity boogity. He likes to show off all his EVPs. Boogity boogity. If there's an audience to be found, he'll be a menace around, inviting the public critique.
Oh my god, I
I'm
love that.
I'm gonna record that. We're gonna put that shit on YouTube.
You definitely need to do that over there. Absolutely.
That's her creativity.
I am now the paranormal Cletus TJ.
Make
Oh
sure
man.
to send me my version. I have to have what I love that.
Oh yeah. That's gonna be cool.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thanks for taking that step, because I know originally you were just going to use initials when we came on the show and just be very generalized. But again, our philosophy here on the show is that if somebody needs attention, we need to know what's going on with somebody. The only way we can do that is to go out there and put them out there by name, so people know who to look for, who to watch out for. So I appreciate you coming forward and agreeing to do this.
Yeah, well, I couldn't use the initials because Joe has trademarked it. He owns it. He trademarked the production studios also.
Oh wow! Wow.
Yeah,
he's gonna have he's gonna have a hard time. Den's gonna have a hard time doing anything. I'm sure he'd be pissed off as Ryan was last night. So, with that, go ahead.
I'll go ahead and say one more thing.
Sure.
You know that he's going to state that we're all slandering him and all this BS and stuff. We're doing a defamation of his character.
Yeah.
Well, I talked with our legal team from LA, and here's the thing from the lawyer.
Nice.
Truth is a defense to a defamation lawsuit. It is not libelous or slanderous for a person to repeat a truthful statement about someone, even if the statement may damage the person's reputation.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, though, too, just being a journalist, and believe me, I've called out a lot of people on the show over the years and pissed a lot of people off. And I have had more claims that people are going to sue me than I can even keep track of. And you know what? I'm still waiting. So you're more than welcome. If, you're afraid to sue Gavin and Paul, you can always sue me, too. I'll give you my address. I'll be waiting.
Don't sue me.
Hey, George,
don't sue me though. You got Ryan suing you, so.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Or you're suing him. I can't figure it out anymore. It's like goes back and forth.
Put on a pair of tap shoes and dance about it.
Put on tap shoes and dance about it.
Yeah,
What?
I say put on a pair of tap shoes and dance about it. I mean, this is about as much entertainment you're gonna get.
Oh yeah. I'm watching two dogs hump.
All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Before we leave, Jeff, I just want George. Jeff Conkle has been multiple times posting up things saying, "Hey, George." So since we were all talking and I couldn't put it out there, I just want to make sure that he knows that you're saying hi. So hello, Jeff, and
hello, Jeff. I'll talk to you later on, brother. I got you. I saw you.
All right, everybody. So you've been listening to Paranormal Connections radio show on the UPRN Talk Radio Network, 107.7 out of New Orleans, and we hope you have a great week. George and I will see you back again here on Wednesday night, same time, same channel, same page. We got some great stuff to talk about that night, too. So, again, have a great week, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.